Someone else that's very talented is Michael Hedris of Perfume Genius, dropping his fifth studio album 2 weeks ago, same weekend as Alma. We just did not get to all the albums from that weekend in time for last week's pod. So we wanted to circle back as, we talked about Moses Sumney last week and really praised his album Gray for the uniqueness of sound, for these really heartfelt and moving lyrics, coupled with just Moses's really unique, amazing, mind-blowing vocal performance on the album and on every song he does pretty much. And this album was drawing some comparisons. This album set my heart on fire immediately from Perfume Genius. I think where the comparisons kind of start and stop, though, is the songwriting and the way that Hadris is able to really expose himself and use his ability to write unique and these catchy lyrics that are very meaningful, but still kind of able to fit into a song that does kind of get stuck in your mind or does have a part that really catches you, while keeping really, I think, his unique perspective, which is, as his sexuality as a gay man is at the center of a lot of his writing, especially over his last three albums. I'd say it's really been more and more a part of it. And I think that's kind of where the comparisons start and end, because I don't think Perfume Genius has the ability to match the vocal performance or the uniqueness in terms of genre as Moses Sumney. But I still thought this album had a lot of really high points to it and things that I walked away loving. How did you feel about this album Set My Heart on Fire immediately?
Right. So I was going in with the reference point to compare to Moses Sumney, and I don't think Michael's vocal, I won't say vocal range, but bandwidth to change like the way he delivers his lyrics and those inflections. I don't think it's nearly as varied as it is for Moses Sumney on Gray. But you can definitely hear him doing a lot still, so the comp does make sense to me. Overall, I found some of the deeper cuts is a little sleepier, a little slower for me, tough for me to connect with. But he does have some songs on here that have a little bit more of a pop sensibility, a little catchier, a little more upbeat in particular. Songs like On the Floor, Without You, Moonbend, songs like that stood out to me a lot. And you can kind of just tell that even if he's softly spoken from time to time, he's still a really strong songwriter. So I understand the hype.
Yeah, I don't think we were talking before we jumped on the pod that you hadn't had a chance to go back and listen to Learning from 2010 or put your back into it from 2012. And it's interesting if you listen to the whole discography in order, you really do see him almost like blooming like a flower in a way as he goes throughout his albums, because Learning from 2010 is incredibly sleepy. I don't even think you would probably make it through it, Dave, because it really is just him at a piano, very soft, almost like achingly like shy vocals on it.
Yes.
And then put your back into it, you start to hear these little flourishes and things coming out. And then I feel like Too Bright from 2014, and then No Shape, of course, the album before this, you see him infusing electronic elements, playing around with song structure, and really just putting himself more and more personally into his songwriting. And Set My Heart on Fire immediately, I think there's a couple of high moments that are some of the best of his career. On the Floor is one that really stands out to me. I thought that was probably the most energetic song that came out of this, and the song that I felt like showed the most of his ability to craft like a poppy singer-songwritery sound. Without You is another one that stood out. But even songs for me like Just a Touch, Leave, Describe, they're so well written. They really infuse these different elements into it that all feel so unique and something that you don't really hear often with alternative music at this point. It just is a very he's an artist, and I think that's what I appreciate most. Is this feels like art to me. Although we're going to be talking about another artist in a minute that I don't always connect with their vision. I feel like I can connect a little bit more with Hadris on this. I know Without You and On the Floor were the songs that you connected most. Was there anything else that even stood out to you at all?
Yeah, Moonbend as well.
Yeah, that's a solid track. I think we'll be talking a little bit more about Perfume Genius probably when we get to the end of the year for me.